Now that we know about if statements, there will be times when we want pieces of code to run a bunch of times. However, we don't really have to just paste the same code over and over again. There is a far more efficient way of doing it. For instances like this, we use loops. There are two types of loops in Python. There are while loops and there are for loops. Today we will be learning about while loops. So what are they? Well, they basically say that while something is true, then a piece of code will run during that time. Let's say we want this piece of code to run multiple times. Let's say we will want it to run 5 times. Well, we can use a while loop for that. So let's do it. We write while loops exactly like if statements. So first we write while, then we write a parentheses. And in this parentheses bubble, we will have our condition. After the bubble, we will write a colon, and then we will go to the next line and write whatever code we want repeated. So for this, we'll just cut and paste our code into the loop. Now that we have that, in order for a while loop to function, we will need a variable to keep track of how many times the code is repeated. So up to here, we will name this variable index, and we'll just make it 0. Now, since we want our code to print this 5 times, we must make it so that the loop runs while index is below 5. So let's write that. Now that we have that, we can't leave it like this, because if we have that, then we'll just be creating an infinite loop. Since we aren't really updating the variable index, it's just staying at 0. So no matter how many times this runs, index will always be 0 and will never exceed 5. So it will just keep going over and over again until your program probably crashes or something. So in our loop code down here, we need to update index somehow. So let's write index equals index plus 1. This will pretty much add 1 to index every time this piece of code runs. Another way we can write this is index plus equals 1. Now this will finally make it run 5 times. At the beginning, when index equals 0, it will print the code. Then it will add 1, making index 1. Then it will print again, and then it will add another 1, making index 2, and then it will print again, and then add 1, making index 3, then it will print again, then it will add another 1, making index 4, then it will print again until finally it adds another 1 and indexes 5. And since index is no longer a number below 5, the while loop will end. And as you can see, when we run our code here, it prints our statement 5 times. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have for today. If you like this tutorial, subscribe. Anyway, that's all I have to say. See ya.